Yo, today I'd like to look at Opacity, OPCT, which is a cryptocurrency that I was invested in that ended up being a rug pull. And this is a difficult topic for me because it's not easy being defrauded and having people essentially take your money from you or lie about what's going on and then never actually follow through. And that's what happened with Opacity is that the developer lied about what was going on, the development that was going on behind the scenes, and he lied for an extended period of time and never followed through with his promises. But even more so, it seemed that he kind of took actions that maybe he was trying to manipulate the market and steal some money off the top. So I can't be positive about that last part, but I 100% can guarantee that he made claims that he never followed through on regarding the development of this currency, Opacity. And I'm talking about the developer whose name is Jason Coppola. And we're going to look at all this, but you know, I wanted to make a quick overview video, or maybe not quick. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but because of the recent bull run, it's basically this was the last, if it wasn't going to be a fraud, his thing was that he was always going to do something on Bitcoin's next bull run. That's what he always kept saying. And it's here. And when I went to go look at the website to see if any updates had occurred, his website's not even there anymore. The Opacity website doesn't even exist. And it very clearly is coming off like a scam now. I mean, it to me it looks like a rug pull. And the reason that's important is that in this video I'm going to lay out kind of what's going on, and I'm not going to be super thorough with it, but I am going to lay it out a bit. But in the next video, I plan on filing an FBI report, and that's what I plan for the next video to be. And one of the reasons I'm kind of rushed currently is that, well, here. So first, let me pull this up. I'm going to look at my view of what I'm looking at. And so we have different things. I have this folder with certain stuff from Opacity in it. And if I go to my Dropbox and I go to the Opacity folder, on the 13th, I had archived the unofficial Telegram, which is this page. And the reason I'm bringing that up, and not only that, I had said I'm planning on filing a complaint with the FBI, and I was trying to get anybody else who might have information. Interestingly enough, this has popped up, and I just saw the word intelligent pop up. Matrix too. Anyway, so KFAM TV Dub 7, W7, and Mist here, and there's some other people in this Telegram who, as you can see here, so Jason scammed the devs too. I mean, a lot of people that are in this group were scammed, and at this point it's just mostly memes. But there are people in this group that have information relating to this guy Jason Coppola's scam. And by scam I mean he kept promising things and developing, and he kept taking people's money, and he kept allowing the crypto to be up in places and saying that all these things were going to happen, but he never followed through on any of it, which is illegal. You can't do that. That's fraud. And so by making promises of certain things, it's and then not following through on them, and it's related to an investment that people were putting money in. Eventually, he let it get, up here it says delisted from KuCoin, which is the only place you could really get it. And then it says he banned me from Maine yesterday. So one of the reasons This is the unofficial group, but if I go to the official Telegram here and I try to open it up, actually it looks like he might have just deleted the Telegram like this moment. So here is the, Telegram thing. When I go to, let's see if it pulls it up this time. It was saying earlier that it wasn't going to let me in the group. Sorry, this group is not accessible. Okay, this is just because the Windows version shows a different message when you try to open it up as opposed to when I'm trying to do it on my Mac. So this is basically what happened. What I'm trying to show is the official Telegram, which is where all the information on the project was going. Questions and technical discussions are welcome. It says price, investment advice, and references to OPCT investment and market activity will be removed. This was the main Telegram group where he was explaining, where the developer was talking to people and where there was an open dialogue on what was going on. Instead of doing it on a public Twitter or on a Discord page or anywhere else, it was done over a Telegram. And I was banned from the Telegram group. It's, I believe it could be still up. With Telegram, it links to a cell phone. I don't have another phone number that I can use to, uh, create an account so that I can go and do a workaround for being banned from the Opacity account. Otherwise, I would archive the official Opacity. But I've archived, meaning I've downloaded all the information. And I did this on the 13th, as you can see here, but also by the date modified. When I did this on the 13th, which it is the 17th, so the 13th was Wednesday, this page was up. This is the Opacity Storage Medium page. And so was Jason Coppola's Jason OPCT account here. They were both up. And the reason I'm making this video in this way, and I might come off as a little, flustered. I said that I'm going to file a complaint with the FBI's Internet Crime Center, ic3.gov, which is, just FYI, it's this page. And you file a complaint, and you tell what happens, and the FBI will go and investigate. And I'm not the only one who's been injured by this, or who's been damaged by this, right? But I seem to be the only person willing to go to the FBI, and I'm making these videos to publicly make it known that I'm going to the FBI over this. I'm tired. I'm someone who has also lost money in the BitGrail case, and it seems to me like I personally don't think it's just coincidence that I keep getting in these things, and I don't think it's like I think I'm being targeted. That's how it feels. But whether I'm being targeted or not, whether I think some people paid Jason Coppola to stop development and whatever, and basically, stop working on it and go do something else because they were trying to hurt me and hurt my money. And so that's my belief on it. But whether or not that part is true, that there are people that paid Jason Coppola to stop working and essentially to rug pull Opacity, he himself, by making fraudulent claims, has committed fraud. So, fraud, like illegal fraud that the government can then, when I filed this complaint, he's in trouble. That's my understanding, right? You cannot, when you have a business or particularly something like an investment that where you're trying to get people to invest in your thing, like Opacity, like any cryptocurrency. If you are a developer and you're making promises and then you don't fulfill those promises, but people have invested money, and in fact, it looks to me like the whole point was he was making these promises to get people to continue investing, or specifically me. I can look at it as this. I look at it as he was promising things that he was never planning on fulfilling, and then he didn't fulfill those things, and he rug pulled, and now I'm left bag holding. So I have a lot of opacity, but opacity is worthless because he stopped development on it, despite the fact that for a long time he had said he was continuing development. And so like the one of the reasons I'm a little flustered is I believe that Jason Coppola has removed this page, right? Specifically because he read in this unofficial chat, which I'm thinking one of these accounts here or something like that. You know, I don't know which one, right? But I'm thinking that one of these accounts is probably Jason Coppola, and that he saw that someone like me said, I'm going to file a complaint with the FBI against him, and he started taking down the evidence of his crimes. Because this page was up again on the 13th. When I favorited this page, it was up. When I favorited Jason Coppola's page, it was up. So let's slow down a little bit and we'll look at a couple things real quick here. So first thing I want to look at, opacity. Here's the coin market cap, right? So you can tell, so you know that this is a real cryptocurrency, right? And that I'm not just like making some crypto up out of nowhere or some rug pull up out of nowhere. You can see that it's available on Market Talks, and you can see that there's no volume. And you know, here's some of the stuff. So first thing I want to do is let's go to here, so you know that this is Opacity Storage's Twitter, or I'm sorry, Opacity Storage, it's X. So even though it still says Twitter in the thing here, so you know this should be the front-facing thing. By the way, Jason Coppola is in San Francisco. He lives in San Francisco. Opacity is developed out of San Francisco. I take this as some attack out of San Francisco on me, Matthew Ray Wilkins. Okay, that's how I take this. I don't know why San Francisco would allow, you know what I'm saying? Where the people are to stop him from doing this there, I don't know. That's why I have to get the FBI involved, right? So this is the Twitter. This is where reasonably, and they actually stopped using the Twitter because, I don't know. They made up some reason why they stopped using the Twitter, but we'll look at that also in a moment. So, you have the Reddit here. So let me pull up the Reddit real fast. And one of the problems with the Reddit here is very similar to the Telegram, how I was banned. And I was banned for asking questions a while ago regarding actually Jason Coppola seemingly used some of the funds. At least this is according to the people here in this chat. And you can go up and I have the archives of it. And people were asking this on the official one and saying this in the official until Jason deleted the posts and banned the people that he had, and people provided evidence, at least some evidence, that he had spent the money, that he had taken money from the developer account and used it for his own personal needs, but that those personal needs included sugar babies, like, you know, young girls that he was paying with the money made from the developer fund, and he was paying to, essentially to sleep with them, or, you know, they were sleeping with him and he was buying them presents with the money from Opacity. Sounds very fraudulent to me. That is the claim made here. I can say I can't can I verify that claim? No, I'm not the FBI. The FBI can do that. Or these anons, whoever these random people are. I'm pretty sure they got, like, some of them seem to have doxed him. So I don't think Jason Coppola is getting out of this without people knowing. I think I need to be the person, though, to bring this into the light of day and to, like, make a point that this is wrong. What Jason Coppola has done is wrong. It's immoral, and moreover, and most importantly, it is illegal. You cannot defraud people, right? Here in America, you're not allowed to do that. You can't make claims that you're working on a cryptocurrency and while you're draining the developer fund, and then you're not actually working on the cryptocurrency. One of the reasons I've waited so long to even do something like this is that if I had made it in like 2022, if I had said this, I think he could have still come back with saying something like, "Oh, I'm working on it behind the scenes," and then something like that. It has been a year and a half at least since really any meaningful thing has been said by Jason as far as what's going on. And really the final straw was when it was delisted from KuCoin and you couldn't get it anywhere. But before it got delisted from KuCoin, one of the things that Jason was trying to do was talk up how it was being looked at by Coinbase as something to possibly be listed on Coinbase. And so he was basically, I think he was trying to pump the market and get people excited so that they would put more money back in. And he knew that he wasn't doing any work on the back end for it to be considered actually like they would consider it and they would publicly list the coins that they're considering. Coinbase would do this. But Jason knew that they weren't doing any work behind the scenes and that they were not going to be, they weren't going to meet the requirements that Coinbase put forth. But he was using it to get the price up anyway so that he could drain the last little bit of funds. That's what it looked like to me. In any instance, he did not follow through with all of the things that he was saying. So I want to point this out. Medium was where they would write articles about what was going on. So you would have it on the Twitter here. Yes, everyone is alive. I mean, this should tell you this is 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, and there hasn't been anything since then. If you go to it, look, the what the fuck is going on with Opacity page is down, and that's my whole point. And it says it was deleted by author. So that when I'm saying that 3 days ago, 4 days ago, on the 13th, when I did this Medium page was up. This Jason's Medium page was up. I mean, it was still online. He only deleted it in the days since I said that I was going to file a FBI complaint. Now, that to me shows that he's worried enough to go and delete the history of this project, because if the FBI looked into it, he would get in trouble for breaking at least crimes relating to fraud. So that's what I think is going on with this. And that's what it looks like. And I mean, when it says the author deleted this Medium story, that's my point. It doesn't say that the author deleted the Medium page here or that Jason deleted his account. It only says that they're not here when they were here a few days ago. I literally made this folder. Like, you can see the last video on my page. This folder didn't exist. I made this folder on Wednesday. Okay? So the fact that it hadn't even been a week and he's trying to remove the history of Opacity is telling to me, and it should be telling to any FBI agents or whoever watches this. This guy committed fraud and he knows it, and he's trying to get rid of his tracks. He's trying to remove the evidence of his crimes. So, I'm using this to show that this is accurately going on, and I mean that this is actively going on. So let me get down some of these pages, and we'll look at some other stuff. So, this is a saved video on, like, uploaded on this. Hey, anonymous, the internet never forgets. Crypto, Jason Coppola, opacity, storage. So here's Jason Coppola, like a relatively recent picture or video. Like, he's seemingly scrubbed himself from the internet. Like, I tried to look him up the other day, and if you look up Jason Coppola opacity, you can see all these things. But I actually think he's done he's gotten his picture removed. Like, there's only a few pictures here. There were more pictures up previously. But you can even see here, this is from a Medium article. It might be No, it's still up. So this is Jason Coppola, who lives in San Francisco, who has committed this fraud, and so he's defrauded, in the least, me, and I think a number of people in this unofficial opacity. What am I trying to say? Telegram, right? And so I'm trying to get over the fact that I don't think I'm the only one that's been defrauded here. I think I'm just the loudest, or I have a YouTube that can I have some ability to make this video and explain that something's going on. And this is the picture that Jason had up of himself on his Medium page. And I'm just trying to just so it's obvious, just so we can have you can see a picture of the guy who's done this fraud. This is Jason Coppola. Okay, so now. And there could be all sorts of other stuff going on behind the scenes, but I'm trying to get over the fact here that in the least the fraud around this is provable, and he's taking down these things that would help prove it. This Medium page that had articles about what opacity is and where they were going with the development and stuff like that. That is critical, and I wasn't able to archive this stuff. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the FBI can do that to some degree, but I can show that it was taken down, where it was, and realistically, when it says here, to Jason, that the internet never forgets, anonymous, the internet never forgets. The internet, generally doesn't ever forget. Here's the Wayback Machine. We can go back to December 8th, 2023. I'm going to be honest, the article that, this is the article that you'd really want to click on. So the article that we tried to click on earlier, okay, I was hoping it would still be up. It's not archived by the Wayback Machine, so we can't do that. But we can go look at Jason Coppola here, just so that you can see that, this page right here is the page that, right here, right, in real time, when we try to look at it, it's not up anymore. And he only took it down after I said that I was going to file a complaint with the FBI. So I'm trying to reiterate that, because that is, in and of itself, something that would give you reasonable suspicion that he's done something wrong, right? Yes, that is something like that. So, and by the way, here is the opacity storage GitHub. This GitHub shows when each thing was updated last, right? And you can see that there's little tiny changes that it says updated. So when you see something updated, you think that people are doing work. On most of these things, you can see that there's no updates there are no updates in 2024. The last update overall was May 4th, 2023. And I don't think that, I think you can look at what was updated, the last changes, and I would wager, I would bet, I would say probably, very likely, that the updates or whatever was changed in these repositories is insignificant to the overall project. That no substantial work or no work really on the development of opacity has been done since late 2021, early to mid 2022, where actual work has been done. I think when they were updating these here, they weren't doing work. And that's important, because if he's claiming that development is going on and he's doing small changes to make it look like development is going on, but it is not actually, there's no actual real development. It's just he's updating some small thing to make it look like the repositories have been updated. That is fraud if he's saying that actual development is going on, which was being said here on the on his opacity, like on the opacity medium and within the Telegram. That's one of the reasons why me being banned from the Telegram and why him deleting the Medium page is, a problem, and I would say points to the fact that he's done something that he would not want the FBI to find out, or people to find out. He's trying to hide his crimes. And I wish I had the ability, like, interestingly enough, I live here in Houston, Texas, right? CoffeeZilla also, who is a big YouTuber who looks at scams and stuff, um, lives here in Houston, Texas, I believe. I think he was in Austin, but I think now he lives in Houston. I see that his thing here says Houston, Texas. And it would be helpful if CoffeeZilla could help out with this, right? I'm a guy here from Houston that's been taken advantage of. Well, I've been defrauded, and it defrauded me out of money and my mom out of some of her money, which is on me, and I'm gonna pay her back for that. But it's wrong. It happened through fraud and a scam, and that's why it would be helpful if CoffeeZilla could help. Maybe I'll post this video and tag him on my YouTube, and hopefully he could see it and look into this. That would be helpful, because this is a real scam that has hurt someone in the city that you live in. If you're a follower of Jesus, I could be the guy on the throne of Yahweh from the 7 churches of Asia, the guy who gets invited up on it, the amount of shit that I've gone through as far as what's going on in my life. Does any of that matter to this investigation? No. However, him being a follower of Jesus, it might be that, the Spirit should put on his heart, hey, you should go help this Mac guy out who lives in Houston, who's been defrauded, who's also pointing out that a number of other people here have been defrauded, and they don't have a voice. They don't have someone to speak up for them. Maybe me, but I don't have the platform. I do think I might have a platform that I'm not completely aware of how much I can affect. But I can say that it would be helpful if CoffeeZilla could help, because, right? Doesn't he, CoffeeZilla does this for a living. This is his job, is calling out scammers and getting justice for victims. So, CoffeeZilla, if you could help with that for me, I would appreciate it. If not, I'm just pointing out that this is the type of thing that CoffeeZilla does. So, okay. We've looked at, here's the CoinMarketCap page. Now, I also want to look at this. If you try to go to the website, and this is what really made me decide the other day that I was going to file a complaint with the FBI. For a long time, the website was still up, and it was it could be possible he's still working on something behind the scenes or whatever. So I didn't want to file a complaint, and then he actually was working on something behind the scenes. That's reasonable. I'm not trying to just file a complaint with the FBI for no reason. I don't want to get the FBI involved for no reason. I don't really want to get the FBI involved. But being that they're really the only recourse I have to deal with this, unless I want to fly to San Francisco, try to find him myself and deal with him like that, which I don't. I think that's the FBI's job. So I'm going to try to tip the FBI off to get them to do this. Not to say to get them to do their job, but to get them to do their job in relation to this guy who they don't know about because they don't have someone tipping them off. Except now I am there. So, okay, that's why I'm planning on tipping them off. But if I try to go to the website for Opacity, it pulls up a completely different app with a white paper. It almost feels to me like this is, and there's there's an I in the Opacity app thing. I don't know. It's just an app that has nothing to do with the opacity.io that existed it doesn't have anything to do with the cryptocurrency. It's a completely different thing. I don't know what the purpose, it seems like this is a quick site thrown up over Opacity, because there is even a white paper. Why do you need a white paper for an app? You know what I mean? You don't need a white paper for an app. In my opinion, this is a rushed thing to try to like hide the fact that like Jason did this, maybe, I think, to try to hide the fact that he had done something wrong, and that this is just something thrown up over it to be like to make it more confusing. The further we get away from when this all happened in 2022, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, the further we can get, I mean, it's still technically happening if he's doing shit like this to try to hide stuff, but the further we can get away with that, the more likely it is that nobody brings up anything and that he gets away scot-free and that his crime is not punished, that he's not caught for having defrauded people. And that's wrong. So if I go to contact here, I don't think this contact, like, again, my whole point is I think this is a fake website that was thrown up over the old opacity.io, which looked more like this. And we haven't even gotten into what opacity is, but it's a cryptocurrency. Does it really matter what it does? To some degree, yeah. So we'll talk about it here in a second, but not if the developer is making false claims that they don't follow through on, that they didn't plan on following through on, and where it seems like it was just something to defraud. I can say it, in at least me, of money. And I can't tell you the whole story of Opacity because Opacity itself started from a different cryptocurrency that I had invested in 2018 called Oyster Pearl. Now you can see this one is just, it doesn't even have, well, I guess there's still some info on it, but it's really like, it ended up actually just straight up being a fraud. And I think, yeah, here, this guy, Bruno Brock, who founded Oyster Pearl, was handed a 4-year jail term for tax offenses. Essentially, he exit scammed. It's my understanding that he exit scammed the original project that I had invested in. And ironically, Jason Coppola here was the good guy who came in to restart the project after this original scam had happened. Because I think the idea of what it was is the idea of what Oyster Pearl is, or Opacity was to be, is a good idea, and there's utility in it. But we'll look at that in a second, because I also want to look at this. Costs, Oyster Pearl, BitGrill, and other smaller forgotten scams. Which is the most devastating to you? Ironically, I'm also a member of the people who lost money on BitGrill. And funny, like, it's not funny to me. It sucks. It sucks being robbed. It sucks all this shit that's going on around me. Additionally, like, I feel like, I don't want to say I can't catch a break, but it's like I feel targeted. And I think I could almost prove that I'm targeted. But that's a different story. I'm planning on paying, like, I put my crypto money and some of my mom's in because I thought I was going to, like, it was all together. All our crypto was together. But she lost money because of that, because he defrauded me and all our money was together. But I'm going to pay her back from the money that got stolen from me from BitGrail. So it's like, literally, do you get how difficult this is? Like, I'm literally having to pay my mom back her portion of it from the money that I'm getting back on another thing that I was scammed on. And that, again, I'm trying to make the point, I think I'm the target for some of these scams. And it's just like the collateral damage for all these other people, the people who are willing to, like, take me out or, like, try to rob from me, they could give a fuck about what they do to anybody else. I mean, they're doing it to me. And, like, they figure if they can do it to me, they don't care if they can do it to other people. So, interestingly, this BitGrill thing is still going on as far as the criminal stuff, and Francisco Ferrano, or Bomber from that, is looking at is in the middle. We are currently in the middle of his criminal case or investigation or whatever in Italy. And so I mean, like, I gotta get my money back from one thing that I had money stolen on to pay my mom back for another thing that I was stolen on. And it just feels to me like I don't believe that there's not. I'm not going to say that they're connected, that Bic Rail and Oyster Pearl or Opacity are connected, but that the idea that crypto is not very well regulated, it's a wild west that provides an opportunity for this group of people that I feel is gang stalking me and robbing from me to more anonymously do that. And to, someone like Jason is almost like a contractor, I feel like, whereas like he's going to take the fall for whatever this is, but the people really trying to do this to me are like they just paid him some money to stop working on Opacity. That's what I think. Now, again, whether they've done that or whether there's people that have paid Jason Coppola or whatever, I can't prove that part. And like, I'm not trying to prove it on this video. I'm trying to prove that he committed fraud, and I'm trying to, like, I don't even have to really prove that part. He committed fraud. There's evidence on it on the Telegram from enough of these people here. Like, here they're all joking about, like, it even has Opacity's fine. It even has cars now, and it finally released the app because he kept saying he was going to do that for a long time, and they never did. So, like, stuff here when you read on the thing and it goes, wait, Siri, this guy who was a community manager and who I talked to through this thing, and I don't think he's involved in the same way that Jason is. He could be, I don't know, but I think he left Opacity before Jason did this or something. That's what it seemed like to me. So, and that he was a community. I don't think he agreed with what Jason was doing either, and I think Jason probably scammed him. But this person saying, yeah, he blamed it on miscommunication. I bet money on that being a play from Jason to make money from the pump. Like, everybody thinks on this page that Jason was manipulating the markets, and some people have provided evidence on this. I just don't have I say this just in the same way where I brought this and this guy goes, I don't have time to spoon feed anyone the incredibly complicated story of what happened here. Read all my messages in the group and you have a pretty good idea of what went on. I do still have a lot of evidence and communications with Jason saved, but I don't really have time for it right now. Can try to answer any specific questions. So this dude, like, people have evidence. What I'm trying to say is, like, for the FBI, there is evidence. It's just like these people need the FBI to go to them to collect the evidence. Does that make sense? And like, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do that. So anyway, at least I think if I can get the FBI to actually like look into this, this is why I would like CoffeeZilla's help or something. Because, like, do I have the platform to do this? No, CoffeeZilla does though. So anyway, when he says El Secreto DMing community members, NDAs, accidental release dates, it was obvious he was manipulating the market. He was using us all along. And that's generally what the thing is. And he, here's where it's showing he like would ban people for no reason. And there's other things, like, again, the sugar baby thing is like people had pictures of his communications, at least allegedly. I mean, I guess you could Photoshop it, but my belief, it looked to me like he really, like, people really did have evidence that he spent developer funds on sugar babies. And again, when I asked about it is when I was banned, and I provided the at least the images or whatever. There were images that showed, like, hey, someone purporting to be from his account or whatever it was purporting to basically show a back and forth transcript between Jason's sugar babies, and their suggestion is that he was using the developer fund to pay them, or using money that should have been spent on the project to pay these sugar babies or something. So, um, yeah, and again, this all came from this oyster pearl thing. I don't think I'm doing a great job like organizing all this content, but I'm trying to do like I'm at least trying to get over, hey, there was a fraud that happened, a rug pull, a crypto scam happened. This person committed fraud. Jason Coppola, this guy committed fraud, and the FBI needs to visit him and investigate this. The FBI needs to investigate this and then visit him. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to I am kind of flustered because he took down some of the evidence within the past couple of days since I said I was going to do this. I shouldn't have said that I was going to file a complaint. That's on me. That's like my fault. I didn't think he would be so brazen. You know what I mean? Brazen. I'm sorry, brazen. Brazen that he would do that after the fact that I did this, but yeah, it's got me a bit flustered because that is brazen. It makes it really obvious that he's done something wrong, right? Um, so okay, is there anything else? Here's the page. This is the last Wayback Machine page from July 6th, 2021, where the Opacity website works. It was working after that in reality. The problem is that any of these other archived versions, so just really quickly, let me show this. Any of these other archived things are not representative of what the actual website looked like. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that if I tried to pull up when I try to pull up this one, because of the formatting, it's not an HTML website. It's a I don't know, Flash website. Is it Flash or I don't know. It's built on some one of those things where it's not HTML, and so it's not going to display it even though it archived it. Does that make sense? So it doesn't have all the different HTML web elements that it's archived. It it just archived that the domain was on the thing. But this is kind of what it looked like, and essentially the idea of opacity is, or OPCT, right, is private cloud storage, and then you would pay for your subscription. So it's like Dropbox but private, and you would pay for it using this crypto, which made it harder to, it's not like you don't have to pay for it with a credit card. You could pay for the crypto with whatever, and then you pay for your account with the crypto. And then the idea on top of that is that the files are encrypted and split across multiple servers, or it's split up, and you have to have the whole security key associated with your account or whatever in order to be able to uh re-put all the pieces together and view the file that you're trying to put up. And I thought it was good for anything privacy related. There's utility in it, and even more so, there's places around the world where if you get caught, the government finds that you have a certain thing, they might execute you for it. So in any instance, I just thought that this was a good idea. It's like private block. It's like Dropbox but private and encrypted, and you pay for it with crypto. Cool. If you could do it, there's a lot of value in that. I think that's why I thought it had that's why I put money into it. And in 2021, actually the money I'd put into Oyster Pearl that was on KuCoin, Jason or whatever, whoever, because he took over Oyster Pearl, or he tried to make, this was Opacity was built on the skeleton, the dead corpse of Oyster Pearl. And if you had some Oyster Pearl, you would be airdropped Opacity. And so in 2021, I got a message from KuCoin saying I had like $10,000, or I had some account balance, and I went and looked at it, and I was like, what the fuck? I had $10,000 worth of Opacity, and that's what got me interested. And I looked into it, and I was like, wow, this is really, like, I agree. Like, I think this is actually it was what Oyster Pearl was kind of about, except like what it was saying was really convincing as far as the platform, as far as what Opacity would be. And honestly, Jason was rather convincing about it. And this is an update from September 2022, right? And so I'm even going to suggest this might be like, I don't know, when was the when was the Reddit? When was the last it got delisted? I don't know. It says a year ago. I'm assuming this was about 2020, 2023. I don't, I'm trying to, I don't exactly know. Um, 2 years ago. So I'm thinking that this part happened in 2022. Like the really scammy stuff did happen in 2022. I have all the logs of some of this is even like KuCoin. You can't be an American and use KuCoin anymore. I don't even know if it exists anymore. So like, I might still have some records of it, but it's hard to prove out. That's one of the reasons why I do still have. Hold on. Can you read my password off the reflection in my eyelid? I'm kidding. That's a joke. Okay. So I do still have in my like wallet that's not on a hard. I mean, not on a what's that called? On an exchange. Um, I still got 1.1 million opacity. I had a lot of opacity, right? Some of it was he was still promising when it was going down in value that he was still saying that they were working on development and promising all sorts of things. And the whole my whole point was about the Coinbase thing. If a coin is listed on Coinbase, it is actually generally Coinbase does its job and is a good exchange, at least as far as they aren't putting up scams for the most part. I think Coinbase attempts not to put up scams. I think they try very hard not to. It should be telling, I guess, that they didn't choose Opacity to list. But my whole point with that is up to that point, I do think it was reasonable. Like I think that there was value in Opacity. Can I pull this up on a? Here, hold on. Okay, like here. See, this is one of the reasons why crypto is so. It's good and it can be bad too. But here's just here's my wallet, which I don't know if it's good for me to be showing. You got to have the key anyway, but whatever. Uh, it's not like there's a ton of money in my wallet, but you can see this is when I transferred the opacity, right? and I had I had some in this off the exchange prior to that, and like you're looking at a little over a year ago. So and you can see here in 2022 I had put some in here. So my whole point, um, it's like in and out. So okay, I just wanted to show like you know I did I have a lot of opacity. I mean I'm not just like a guy that's saying, hey, there's a crypto that exists and I'm not like a part of the people who weren't defrauded. So like I have been injured by this. You know what I mean? I have been defrauded by it, and it hurts. It sucks. I'm tired of getting robbed from and defrauded, and like people lying to me, and I just feel really abused, honestly, like mentally and emotionally, and like all these things. But okay, maybe let's take a few moments to watch a little bit of this video here. Just I don't know if he can even take it down anymore, but I do. I want there to be pictures of him. I don't want this guy to just be faceless and like gone. One of the things that I even wanted to show on the Medium page here is that he had already wiped his image. Like when we look at this and you can see his picture here, on Wednesday when I went, he had taken his picture out of it. It didn't say like it might have said CEO at Opacity, but it was very clear to me he was trying to wipe the history of Opacity and what he's done. And it's more, I mean, it's so obvious now. This should be a red flag out the wazoo for either the FBI, or if you're watching this on YouTube and you're just like interested in someone getting scammed or something, like this should make it really fucking obvious that this guy did this. And there's intentionality in his action, and that he knows what he did is wrong. Okay, so that should be clear. And the opacity storage page here is still up. So there's that. Is there anything else on here that might be? If we go to the white paper, let's see if does it. No, see, so this is, I think, one of the reasons why is to make it plausibly deniable, because I think Jason was planning to like put, that what I'm saying with this, where there's a website, it's the same name with a similar concept, but why does an app need a white paper? And then there's nothing there anyway. So I think it's just something to muddy the water, like to make it more chaotic. And like the further removed in time we get, the harder it is to piece together what's happened. And like, if he can put more chaos and more just random shit in the way, that's what I think that is. It's just like it's meant to be a distraction. So okay, we've gone over the coin market cap, right? We've gone over, here's the last usable images from the opacity website. You can see here when I go to blog, it pulls up the Medium page, this one, right? So it pulls up this oh, interestingly enough. And here's another guy that I think stopped working on it prior, but I'm not positive. It's this guy Tim DeHaas, and he might still have it up because I don't actually think he's been involved in opacity in a while. Opacity storage community manager. No, he hasn't posted anything about it in quite a while, and even when I was getting into it, I don't think he was that involved. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. He could be involved behind the scenes. So I don't want, if he's culpable or done something, I don't want him to get away with it. Same idea and thing with Jason. If he's culpable, like I think he's done something wrong. I don't want him to get away with it. I don't want opacity to just, like, I don't want this to just go away without me at least having made this video and reporting him to the FBI, right? And so that's what I'm doing. And so is there anything else? I've gone through that. This is the last page. Do I need to bring anything else up? I mean, we go to the YouTube. There's nothing here. I mean, okay, this is actually might be telling. The YouTube, we were just on. So when I looked up Tim DeHaas here, and you see ASDFGFAF, this thing here, and you can see it's almost similar. What's happened here? I think I was on. I think I looked at it. Let me confirm. On Wednesday when I pulled this up, it was still up, I believe. So if you give me a second here, I'm gonna check if. Okay, like, is this it? Opacity storage, YouTube. Yeah, dude, I think he deleted it. I mean, I think he did that since Wednesday, unless this is about to pull it up. Like, I'm not even kidding. I looked up here. We'll try this. Yeah, I think he took it down since I talked about it on Wednesday. I think Jason also took this down. The reason I brought up Tim DeHaas again is because this whole just a string of ASDF whatever, right? That it looks like he typed up. That is what, right, the YouTube is now currently, which I'm saying again, on Wednesday it did not look like this. Like, you know, I really regret not making a video where I looked into these things. I was gonna do it yesterday, and the electricity went out here, so I had like I ended up going to a coffee shop, and then when I came back, I didn't feel like it. I decided I was gonna do it today, or I told myself I'd do it today. I didn't think that he would be deleting stuff. Like I thought that that would look too obviously. Like, what, you think the FBI can't go back over the records of this shit? The FBI can literally go look at uh your home ISP, like whoever your ISP is, and see through them what websites you've been visiting and what you've been doing. How the fuck do you think that this is actually going to work to prevent, other than just like if I as a person see it? You know what I mean? It might make me feel like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. And I think that that's the intent here, is to like hide, again, hide his crimes, hide what they've been doing. I don't know if Tim DeHaas is participating, because that is really, really, to me, very sketchy. That I'm gonna look it up one more time here on my computer, because I think I was following, uh like, I think I was subscribed, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think on this computer I might even be subscribed on my other account to that page. Uh, like, so let me check one more time. I just want to confirm. Okay, well, I can't find it because I think for a long time I was, and I think I unsubscribed a few months ago. But I did look at it again on Wednesday just to check, and there was about there was only two videos up, and it was kind of like how to purchase opacity and whatever. So it just really seems to me, and you should take this if you're the FBI or something. I would suggest, like, come and ask me. I'm willing to give whatever testimony, like, what does the FBI need for me to point out that this guy has done that I haven't already done? And if it's the truth, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie about something, but I'm not lying about this. This guy is, a scammer, and has defrauded me of money, and it's stolen from me, and it's stolen from my mom in her retirement. And she's 80, man. Like, her my life is hard enough. I don't need this dude doing this kind of stuff. So, okay, hold on. Let's get rid of this. There's other things like his. I think he was asking for money because like his sister's house burned down in the Maui fires or something, and like people were able to find information on Jason and his sister, and her husband, and it's like within this telegram, and it's in the archive of things that I have, and all these people are like, again, guys like this, Crypto Mist, or interestingly enough, his name is KFAM TVW, like 7. So like K, we're family. This is a TVW, like having gone through this and have a scam that I can show, and we're fam, and whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to point out, like, it seems like it's trying to say something. But or Lord Bearkex, I think this guy also. So I'm trying to click their names so that you could see their ets on Telegram, so that hypothetically, if the FBI needs to go through it, I can say that a few of the people that I've just clicked here are really like some of the people that are what am I trying to say, that have been damaged by this, it would seem, so that these are people that have been damaged by this, that if I'm not, basically I'm not the only one, and you could go talk to them. And like I said, this dude down here at the bottom, who's going by KFAM TVW7, like he should have, like he's saying, he has the evidence, right? I do still have a lot of evidence and communications with Jason saved, but I don't have time right now. You know who we might have time for? The FBI. Because if the FBI is coming to him for the evidence that he has on Jason, then it means they're probably going to take action on it. So, I'm really trying to prove, like, hey, there's a case here. And if the FBI wants, like, I think a slam dunk fraud case that they can prove that they're actually protecting people from crypto scams and crypto fraud, this guy looks like a developer who did some evil stuff, and that's defraud people. So, I mean, and like, I just want to also, when they're saying here, it's talking about like, I signed the NDA and I can tell you nobody donated anything. They lent money to Jason on the clear understanding that he would pay them back quickly. Instead, he didn't pay them back, ghosted everyone he had stolen money from, and banned anyone from the group that asked about it. OPCT is, was, and always will be a scam that never served any purpose other than to pay for Jason's prostitutes. Now, I'm not the one saying that, man, right? That should make it really obvious that he has done something wrong. I'm not the only one saying it, but I've been damaged by it too, and I need, the authorities here in this country, who this is their job to do this, they need to do that. That's why I'm reporting him. That's why I'm saying to anybody, like, I'm going to send this video to KFAM TVW, and he can decide if he wants to help or not. But I'm pretty sure me being the catalyst for, hey, Jason clearly just took some actions to, like, remove the Medium page. And basically the Medium page was what described what was going on with the project, like, and actually had the updates. You know what I'm saying? The Telegram page was also where you could find that, but the Twitter page was not used for that. The Twitter page would just point to the links on the Medium page. That's why him just taking down the Medium page, when I brought up that he was, I was going to file an FBI complaint, that's why that's big, because a lot of the promises, like the what the fuck is going on with Opacity, this should tell you, this is the one where he basically said, yes, we're still working on it, and stuff like that, in a public forum. The other stuff is going to be on the Telegram, where he very clearly was using his authority in the Telegram group to ban anybody who was going to be asking questions that he didn't like. So, and that's what he did to me. That's why I'm banned from it, and I can't see it. Otherwise, I would archive it. He was deleting stuff from it anyway. He is not able to delete stuff from this because this isn't controlled by him. So, let's watch. I guess this is going to be the last part. Let's watch this video right here, or a little bit of it, and just so you can hear his voice, see him. He seems very unassuming. Supposedly he has a daughter, and like, you know, he's going through his own troubles, but then that should make you recognize, like, what if somebody stole from your daughter, right? I didn't steal from you, man. I didn't do anything to you other than believe that you weren't going to defraud me. I didn't even specifically think me. I thought he wasn't going to do. First of all, I could see that people had already doxed him and all this other stuff was going on, but I didn't think that he was going to abuse his power as the developer, that he was going to lie, that he was committing fraud. I didn't think all that. Okay. One of the reasons why is it's just too, like, he's committed all I got to do is report this to the FBI, and I think it's like a slam dunk case. Especially when all these other people are saying that they have evidence. I don't think even this dude is the only one that has evidence. KFAM TVW. That's like KFAM TVW. Like, we'll put this on TV because this is something worthwhile if they're actually stealing from you like this. That's what it feels like, but okay. Let's listen to Jason and then end this video.
Hey everybody, Jason from Opacity here. I wanted to give an update. We're at the end of September, and we also recently had some things going on for September that were obviously interesting and exciting in different ways, right? So I wanted to give an update on what was going on, and also update maybe people who weren't aware of the situation. We just had an issue with a lender that was trying to interfere with the project a little bit to get the funds and demanding all funds instead of sticking to a schedule that we had talked about.
And so he's saying this, but this is actually the thing where he asked people to sign an NDA, and like he was asking for loans from other people, right? When it's talking about this NDA here, is that he had already gotten money lent to him, and then he asked a bunch of people in the group or in the official Opacity chat. Remember, I can't go to the official Opacity. This thing that I'm on is the official Opacity announcements page. It's official. This one is not. I could even, in fact, I'm gonna archive this, or not archive it. Wait. What did I do? I'm not a Telegram user. That's also one of the things when he's doing this on Telegram. I think he's doing it because he could block people, and also because the encryption prior to this whole thing that the guy who made Telegram was like, I'm not going to share whatever, and then France arrested him, and he's like, all right, I'll share so that I can move around freely. So I think it's hard for the authorities to get into stuff until more recently. Now I do actually think they can get into Telegram stuff. I think. Up here, if I go to export chat history, and I'm just gonna do this, and we're gonna do format both. We're gonna try to get every little thing here, the oldest message to the present, and I'm gonna download it to my opacity folder in this. And I'm gonna name it this. See, I feel bad. I feel like I shouldn't have. I don't know. I didn't think he was gonna be so obvious. I actually do think it kind of helps my case. Uh, don't know. Did I spell announcements right? Uh, ANNOUNCE. Yeah. Okay. Um, I didn't think he was gonna do this so obviously. I mean, I actually think that's really unintelligent and unwise that he's gone and done this because it's like he that doth protest too much, right? Or he that he took an action to erase stuff after I said I was going to contact the FBI. That should, I keep repeating this. That's a huge fucking red flag, okay? Just making sure that that's obvious, okay? Um, and like what I was saying here is he had a situation where someone, I guess, lent the project money or lent him money, and then he uh, I don't know what he did. I think he just ran. I think he was using it to pay his own personal things. That's my thought. But whatever it is, they ran out of money or couldn't pay the people back. So he asked members of the community, the Opacity community, the people that had put money into the project already. He asked them. First of all, he said, "I can only tell you this if you sign an NDA." And then they had some people signed an NDA, and then it was basically there was some degree of like he needed money for something, and if you lent him the money, he would respond like he would tell you what was going on, but you would have to sign this NDA. And so this is why this person's saying, I still want to know what was in the NDA that people who donated to the project had to sign. And then that's why he said, I signed the NDA, and I can tell you that nobody donated anything. They lent money to Jason on the clear understanding that he would pay them back. Instead, he didn't pay them back, ghosted everyone he had stolen money from, and banned anyone from the group that asked about it. That's why he's saying opacity is, was, and always will be a scam that never served any purpose other than to pay for Jason's prostitutes. So, like, I'm not the only one damaged by this. Other people very clearly are. It's just to, like, get the will. It's already hard. It's like, it's so demoralizing going through this. And to me, going through it another time after going through the Big Grill thing, and then on top of all the other fucking difficult issues in my personal life, I got to deal with this other one where this guy has stolen tens of thousands of dollars worth of crypto from me. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars worth of value from me because it's what would have had value evaporated because he wasn't following through on his promises that he was developing it. And that's why we're watching this video, because this video is, one of the last videos I think that he made where he's promising development on this. But he was saying it on the Telegram too. But this should give you a hint. So when he's talking about this lender, this is what the NDA thing was about.
It was a short-term need. It was a short-term crisis, and the crisis has now passed. So I just wanted to let everybody know that.
And it passed because he got a bunch of people or enough people to sign the NDA, and he got the money and then paid this person back. And then I don't know if he paid any of the people who signed the NDA back. And then I think they signed an NDA and they might not have realized that they signed themselves to silence on it. So I don't even know if they can, sue him for fraud or whatever. But I can certainly do that, and I can file a complaint with the FBI. So that's what I'm doing.
We're back where we were before. So there's no
FYI, he stole money from me and my mom. My mom is a lawyer here in Houston, Texas. She's been a lawyer for like 40 years. So, for him, maybe there couldn't have been a worse person to steal from, right?
need to be concerned at this point. We had a short-term turnaround. That's why I did go to the community, because people are saying, why didn't you go to a traditional lender, or why didn't you sell this asset or that asset that the company might be holding? Well, it's not.
If I have to guess, the company didn't have any assets. He was lying about how much was in how much the developer fund had, how much assets Opacity had. He's lying. Like, this is my guess that he's lying about. They were lying about like how much basically they had to continue the development. And I think he ran out because of mismanagement and spending it on I don't know. I don't know. I think he ran out because of mismanagement. Whether that includes because he spent the developer fund or other monies that were dedicated to this project that he spent them on prostitutes and sugar babies and stuff. I can't verify that, but it does look like he was doing something with sugar babies or prostitutes, and it does look like, again, I can't verify this part. I don't know this for sure. This is what the community was saying. This is what, if you go back on this page, somewhere in there, you can, I think there's pictures of it, and I probably have those archived. And for sure, I think some of these dudes who look like, I mean, even this thing where it's like a Pepe face, right? It just, I get the idea of 4chan and Anons, and like, I'm sure some of these Anons, the internet never forgets, Jason. So I think that they do have that information still.
Not always a great idea to kind of respond to an emergency with the fastest solution. Selling assets. Turning around something on a short notice with a traditional lender would have been difficult, especially given the landscape that I'll also talk about macroeconomically in the world right now for interest rates and inflation, things like that.
I think he couldn't get it from a traditional lender because it's no traditional lender would be that stupid. I think he was defrauding people, and like a traditional lender is going to require too much um, guarantee from him and collateral and more evidence that the project is doing well or that he'd be able to pay them back than he was able to get together. I don't think because I don't think you. What I'm saying is, I don't think a traditional lender would be so stupid as to do that. Only people who wanted the project to succeed and who are willing to overlook how shady this is and what he's saying would have given him money. Sadly, I mean that's just what it seems to be.
So the best solution was to really work with the community. It was also a test of our resolve as a community to see if we're still committed to seeing things through on my side and your side.
And so I would say this: he's not committed to seeing things through. He didn't. He just stopped. He stopped, and it looked to me like the community for a long time was behind him, and the community, like I would even say, including myself, stopped listening to him when it became so overwhelmingly obvious that he was never going to follow through. But he had already taken it to such a level where it's like I had lost my money at that point. I mean, it had evaporated because he wasn't doing any work and he wasn't planning on doing any work, and he let it be delisted from KuCoin. But there was like a working product to some degree. There was a version of Opacity that you could save to, and it wasn't using decentralized private storage, though you did have to use your crypto to pay for it, like Opacity coin you used to pay for a year worth of the storage, and then you could put things on like the Opacity's version of Dropbox, or the Opacity app itself, and then you could download it, and it was somewhat working. It was just running off Amazon Web Services instead of running off of decentralized private servers that were where the storage is set aside for decentralized blockchain use or decentralized distributed ledger use, which is what I believe Storj, Storj, was. I believe this is something similar, and this was going to be the back end for it. Else, it might have been something called like Saya. Yeah, like one of these Filecoin, Saya coin, or Saya or Storj. One of these was going to be the back end for Opacity, essentially. I think it was going to be Saya, right? And so, and you can see here, Storj is talking about it. And this is even what I'm talking about. The initial release of Opacity Network is through Amazon Web Services. So it was centralized. Though, they're trying to like, basically, here's someone on one of those things, Storj, talking about Opacity. So, my whole point with this, it's a good idea. It just like, I think he mismanaged the development. I think that Jason Coppola here mismanaged the development, mismanaged the funds, maybe was in over his head, but he said things that weren't true and ultimately ended up defrauding investors. So I don't, I'm not even going to put it all on him being malicious. However, incompetent and not and irresponsible are words that come to mind. Malicious, I can't prove that yet. It does feel like that to some degree, but I can't prove that. So anyway,
To do this together, this is not a one-sided thing. Obviously, we have a community for a reason, and so that's why I brought it to people who were here to support the project, and many people stepped up, whether it was even just verbal approval of things that are going on in the project,
verbal approval. Hmm.
verbal support, confidence in things, which I really appreciate hearing. I love to have that, I guess, feedback that people are very interested in what we're doing and looking forward to continuing what we're doing, and people that contributed. So we are really in a good shape right now as far as this situation goes. The project is stable. There's no issues. People are people tend to panic over the littlest things. I mean, was this little? It wasn't small, but it wasn't big. It was a little 50 grand loan. Instead of, if I came to the community and said we're $1 million short and we're going to close the doors in a week, I think that would have been a bigger concern and a need to panic. People.
Yeah, he didn't do that. He never said that they needed to close. I mean, when he says he said to the community, you know what I mean? Like this, they stopped. He make anything that was going on basically in the Telegram chat. He stopped communicating through Twitter. They stopped communicating through whatever. And like for me and a number of the people who were actually members of the community, we got banned when we brought up these from the Telegram. So the only place where you really could go back and forth and have this kind of chat and see what was going on got banned for asking reasonable questions about um, what was going on with opacity.
People are still out there wondering what's going on, if we're alive or dead. We're alive, obviously. I'm here. Servers are live. If the system wasn't up, we'd be in trouble. That costs money, so obviously there's money running the.
If I have to guess, the servers aren't up anymore, but I don't know because the app doesn't work on my laptop anymore, and just like it should, it everything I can't download it again because the website's down and like it's just done. But I'm gonna say this: it's not going away as far as like certain people's records of it, and like I'm not forgetting it. And this happened in my reality. In reality land, this guy Jason Coppola defrauded me and seemingly some other people. I can vouch for myself, but
we also still have our mobile app in the background that is on the shelf ready to go when we're in a better environment, and the beta site that is out there, been out there for a while, 6+ months, that is a real good polished version of the current site. Those things have just been on the sidelines until we're in a better environment. I believe that,
like he was sitting and saying he was waiting to release things for like a Bitcoin bull run. And reasonably that should have been in my head is like a red flag. I think a lot of people looking at this project, this guy KFAMTVW7, he says, I think I'm the only person who wasn't defrauded. You can literally go back and check. I was trying to ring the alarm and telling people what was going on when this was still around 50 cents. And it's like, well, I wish I had listened to you then. I'm not, thank you for trying to do that. I feel bad because I was defrauded. So
that we needed to weather the storm of the bigger picture in crypto. Obviously, Bitcoin down an entire year, and we can see.
Oh, Bitcoin is finally up. Where's the app? Doesn't exist anymore. Neither does the website. Neither does opacity. See, this is the problem. So
the other things that are going on in the world, I want to mention those because these are why I keep things on ice for a while. We're not the biggest project. We don't have the deepest pockets. We have to be diligent and careful about when and what we release and what I talk about and when I talk about it.
I'm going to say this. No, you just have to develop the project actually. And I think that he stopped spending money on the development and it just stopped being developed. He can say that he has all this stuff on the sidelines. The GitHub, there's been no activity on it, and there hadn't been really that was like substantial. And you can check this. I think it's like Wikipedia where every edit you make, there's like notes to it, right? You could check what work has been done. So you can try to lie about it, but I mean, reasonably, you could just go check whether that's the truth or not. Did he have apps? Is Jason, are you saying you had all these apps and stuff on the sideline? You never put them on the website because there was no bull run, and then there's just never any bull run, so you ended up letting the whole thing go away, and it's like it's just bullshit excuses. What I'm getting at, yeah, I think that's really bullshit excuses. And again, just develop the app. I mean, just develop. I'm sorry, just develop Opacity. And if you're actually developing it properly and you're developing it, you're not just like saying you're doing stuff, but you've spent all the development money on other stuff. So you have these things set aside, but you're waiting on certain periods to to put them in because you want to see it go on a bull run because you want to try to manipulate the market. Even that, what he's saying, kind of sounds like market manipulation. So that should tell you like that he's trying to like hold the app for certain times. I can understand why at times it might be wise to for a short period of time you have an update, but you wait to like for it to be impactful, but you don't wait forever and then never release anything. You know? Yeah.
I try to be as open and honest as I can. I'm always being honest, but open and transparent about things because
It doesn't look like it, and it's ironic because it's called opacity, not transparency. This whole thing was completely opaque from the beginning. The fact that it's all done on Telegram and like I'm banned from the Telegram, and anybody that actually seemed to have been defrauded or like that was interested in it but it raised any concerns, it seems like probably got banned. So
uh, everything has an effect. So obviously, right now in the world we have high inflation. My Dutch friends, I just saw you have 17% inflation. Congratulations, you've broke records. Awesome. U.S. Gasoline today I saw was $7 a gallon, which is very high for.
maybe in San Francisco, why don't you not live in San Francisco and do your work out of Texas like the rest of us here, and maybe you wouldn't have to pay $7 for gas. It's like half the price here. Everything's half the price here. But I mean, he stole to me the amount of money that he stole is probably less to him because he lives in a place where everything's super expensive. It's probably what if I have to guess, I think he just ran out of money because he mismanaged the funds and started dipping into the developer funds and then ran out of that and then just like thought he could uh, thought it would just go away and just hoped it would go away and like didn't say anything to anybody, like banned people from like it wasn't like he was doing the right things, but he just kind of hoped it was going away. And then I think when I said that I'm going to report him to the FBI, that was when he made the decision to start taking things down, which is a really obvious sign that he's done something wrong. I mean, it's not even like if he just left it up, that might even have been more in his favor. The fact that he actively took it down means he's clearly worried about something, right? He took it down within the past few days. Like I promise you, I made this a few days ago. Like literally, I mean, obviously when I art, like you could see, right when I did this. This says the 17th because I did it today. This says the 13th because I did it on the 13th, and I was planning on making this video, since then. And I just, damn, I wish I had done it sooner. But I do think it's probably good that now you see that very clearly he knows he committed fraud if he's taken those things down. That's what I believe.
Traditionally what we've had. It's the highest that I've ever seen it, pretty much. At least in the California, which high.
Anyway, long story short, it looks to me like he's blaming the project's failings on inflation at this point. Let's listen a little more.
They might get a small investor. They might take time to build and prove the concept. We really dove in, obviously, have that expectation for next week. So I don't have anything else to add right now. I think I've mentioned everything that needs to be said today. I will give another update. At least my plan would be in 2 weeks, middle of October. We're dealing with the fallout, repercussions of the situation I just dealt with, and making sure that things are closed and completed with that stage. But the costs and governments are trying to fight that inflation and slow things down.
Look, I'm gonna play the next five. Like, I'm just gonna play it, and we'll just listen. I don't want to say anything. I'm gonna end the video after that, and I'm gonna go to the outro to my video. So we're gonna watch his video, and then that's it.
Which will give us a recession, and we've had signs of that already, of recessions in the world and in the United States. coming. We recently, on a small scale, I wouldn't say small scale, but on an isolated level in the region, we had a big hurricane in Florida. That'll affect their economy. So there's always things, right? There's always things going on. So what do we need to worry about? Well, just getting through it, right? Keeping things going, keeping the lights on until things are looking like there's a brighter future and there's a light at the end of the tunnel, which there always is. There's
Is there? Because it seems like you like rug pulled that. What I'm gonna say, I know I just said I would let it play, but it just seems to me like he's just saying kind of bullshit. There was never any additional that I can see that I remember update. There might be like he wasn't doing regular updates. If I remember correctly, this might have been one of the last updates that he did. So when he's saying we need to wait all this. No, you just need to develop it. You just need
always solution.
to actually spend the money properly on developers who know how to code properly to make the back end, to make the website, to make this, that, the other, and then release it.
There's always options. Someone else in the community mentioned to me, strange that I had so much confidence when I asked for this loan last week. Um, I've been doing this 3 years at Opacity. I've been in the business world for 25 years of my career. My father and family was in business. Uh,
I think he went to Skidmore College and graduated in 1993. If I'm correct, when let's see, Jason Coppola, Opacity, uh, like, no, it's not this guy, different guy. Sorry to that, Jason Coppola. There's another one where I clicked it and you could see that he was, that's it. Yeah, and it says Skidmore College. He went to Skidmore College between 1989 and 1993. He's the CEO slash employee at Opacity, which he should probably remove this. And yeah, so just like I'm just trying to show that this is a real guy who like made a real mistake, but like, yo, dude, you really like defrauded. Like, you basically are just a thief. If you can't, it doesn't matter whether you admit it or not. But I mean, like to me, but it's just wrong that you like kept it going and then never actually followed through. But
almost 100
we'll talk about that at the very end.
years of 3 generations have been business in my family since the 1930s. So I've seen ups and downs. I've seen recessions. I've seen depressions, sort of whatever we want to call it, 2008. But I've seen crypto now for many years. I've seen my own struggles in personal life and in business life, and every step is an opportunity to face it head on and to make the right decision and the best you can with the information and the resources you have, and move forward. Every step, put one foot in front of the other, and you'll get to the next step. Um, Startups have trouble. We are a 3-year-old company. Think about it. We don't have deep pockets. We don't have a large investment pool right now. That's something that I'd love to get in the future, but I need to keep things on tracks one step at a time. Um, and seeing the dough being made or the sausage being made of a startup is the opportunity and the challenge that you as a community face. It's not normal to see how much all this public information of a small startup dealing with issues, whether
Because it's not a company in the normal way, Jason. It's a crypto. You're supposed to like your as the developer, your goal and job isn't to look at it like a company. That's part of the issue. It's to develop the thing, and if what you've developed has value, it will grow and it will show. People will pay for that value. This is where I don't think he quite got cryptocurrency.
it's financial, people, market forces, things, all sorts of things that happen. Normally, a startup company will be a couple of people in a garage, maybe. They might get a small investor. They might take time to build and prove the concept. We really dove in, obviously, from day one because of our own history and built something very quickly. Iterated on it, built a phase 2, which you know about, that is almost, well, it's pretty stable, obviously, and also has a ready to go update that will give it to the polish that it needs. And then on top of that, the icing will be a mobile app. I'm really just waiting for the best opportunity to release these diamonds because that's going to be our next stage of growth, and it doesn't exist today. Uh,
No, the next stage of growth was just actually having a completed, like actually having services that were completed and like the following through with your promises. And then there's value in the idea of opacity. And especially if you had, managed having your amount of opacity, if you have something that's valuable and you see it rise in value, then you can, cash in on that. You've done something successful and you can make your money from like, hey, you took this thing that is a valuable idea, you saw it from nothing to something much larger. It's not how can I manipulate the market to like raise the value of it over the short term, which is what he keeps trying to suggest, and that's just not it. And yeah.
I would not want to waste the opportunity when Bitcoin has been bouncing around 20,000 for a month.
Like, look at it now. Bitcoin is at 90,500 at this exact second. 90,576.06. 90,586.04. I mean, it's like all-time highs.
Month or two until it's definitely stable and the market picks up and things are looking healthy. Healthy market globally, healthy market in crypto is where we can latch on and get to the next growth stage. Um, I can't talk about valuation of our company. I can't talk about specifics of any opportunities we have. These are things that I would worry about the scrutiny that would come from me giving too much information publicly to influence our position. But um,
Because just that should suggest he knows, like, if he's that aware of like making comments, people in the thing are already saying he's doing other stuff behind the scenes, like in this opacity telegram, that he was doing other things to manipulate stuff. Where he's because if he manipulated through like a video like this, yeah, that's too obvious. But like he's taking steps behind the scenes. But it should be obvious when he's saying, "Oh, we have a working project. Product. We're waiting to release these gems because like the market's not doing well, and so we wanted to do." And it's just like, no, you should have used this downtime to develop your actual product, and you should have used the up periods where opacity was worth we go to its all-time high, it literally got to 46 cents, right? And you know this was actually around the time that I like went back in my thing and found out that I had it, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And from that point it just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. It was like, and the issue is if what you're doing is you see that you're at some kind of high and you sell some of the money in the developer fund so that the developer fund is funded, and then you use that to develop the thing so that when you're down here, you have money. You know what I mean? So that when you're down here or down here or anywhere in a lower category of whatever, that you have money. And my expectations when I was doing the TA on this and the Fibonacci things, it the fib was like it could go like $1.21. I think was like the what I was thinking where it was going, or it was going higher. It just needed people to actually put money into it because they thought it was they didn't think it was a scam. In other words, like around this point is where it became painfully obvious it was a scam, and you can see the drop it went from like 20 cents to 3 cents, right? And then it's just been in free fall and you can't buy it anywhere and whatever. But like, my whole point is if you manage the developer fund properly, you take some of the money that you make from up here, or you get some money and you continue the development, and when you have a working product, like it wouldn't have to be like the most stellar project currently to like still have value. It would just have to not be a complete scam, which is what it has ended up being. That's my point. Like there was value in it already. There's values in the promises that it was. He's thinking the value is in when we release these individual things, but the real value is in the idea of opacity itself and what it like like your goal. The goal of the project was to be, hey, we're this and private storage and you can do this and this is what we're looking to provide and we got to develop to that point. There's value in that and the development of the thing to that point. There's not value in this idea that it could be a thing. And then you have all these like different apps that you're like sitting on, or like, little gyms, like he said, that he's sitting on, that he's thinking that's where the value is going to be. That's where the you can short term manipulate the market a little bit, yeah, sure, but that's not where the actual value in the project is.
I believe we have a lot of room and a lot of opportunity, and I believe we're pretty well positioned as of today. Things can change next week. Like I said, every day is a new challenge, a new problem. But I'm working. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. I haven't taken a salary. I've taken enough just to pay my bills, keep things going, and um, I'm waiting myself for the right opportunity for us to be to say that we've uh, met our full potential, or at least even the early stage of our potential. Full potential can come over many years, but um, I see many outcomes. I see many paths. See many options and opportunities. There's always a path forward. So that's where my head's at. This is why I'm confident, because no matter what happens, a problem is a problem and you deal with it. It's not something to panic about. It's not something to freak out about. On my side, if your management is freaking out, you might be concerned. Yes, you should be concerned. So um, I'm not panicking. I'm dealing with every issue that comes my way. If I came on next week and said, "Well, we're turning off the servers and shutting the doors," that's when you might want to consider a panic. But um, I think we're definitely not at that point, and I don't have that expectation for next week. So I don't have anything else to add right now. I think I've mentioned everything that needs to be said today. I will give another update. At least my plan would be in 2 weeks, middle of October. Um, we're dealing with the fallout, repercussions of the situation I just dealt with, and making sure that things are are closed and completed with that stage. But the interim crisis has passed, and I'm looking really hopeful for the future. So I really appreciate the support of the community, of everyone who did help. Even words of encouragement and words of support were so appreciated and so welcome. And I'm still working as hard as I can to keep it going. Okay. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. Take care.
All right. Well, so the next video, I'm planning on basically filling this form out, filing the complaint. When you do that, you got to accept these terms, because this isn't fucking around. This is like you're literally filing a complaint with the FBI. So I'm gonna file the complaint. I'm gonna go through all this. I might even have my mom help me, but as she's a lawyer, um, but I can say, I can, I think I can fill this out just fine. You go through it, you fill in, different information, you sign it. I think essentially it's saying, like, if I'm lying, I can be, I can get in trouble if I if I lie, or I guess if I, like, I'm trying to see if I violate some kind of, if I do something where I've collected information in a way that I shouldn't or something. I don't know, but in any instance, I feel 100% fine with saying this guy defrauded me and my mom, but I can speak for myself here for sure. This guy defrauded me. He represented Opacity. He keeps saying it's a company too, so that should even be a like, okay, well then you ran it in a fraudulent fashion. Um, but I'm gonna file a complaint. That's what I'm trying to say, and I'm just trying to make it really obvious and like lay out some of what's going on. And like, look, I didn't want this video to be an hour and 45 minutes long. I wanted it to be a lot shorter, but it just ended up being what it is. And like, so I'm going to do a video, I think tomorrow or sometime this week. I plan on filing the complaint with the FBI, and that's going to be the next video. I hope that this was meaningful or something. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time, and hopefully, hopefully there will be some movement on this. this is wrong. What has happened here is wrong. It's illegal. It's fraudulent. And yeah, the FBI does need to be involved, I think. Now I'm going to add one more section on here. And this part is like less, like, I can say what I said earlier and what I've shown earlier is true. And you can see through by his actions, by Jason's actions, where he's trying to scrub the records of what he's done, that, he's done something wrong. In the least, he's done something where he thinks it's wrong, that he needs to delete the records. You know, that like something told him he should do that, probably after seeing that I was going to file this complaint, which again, I just want to reiterate, this is from, November 13th. I rejoined the group on November 13th. I had exited it. You can go back up here and see when I exited it. I'm not going to, I was really pissy and like I was angry that it didn't feel like, because I had asked previously if anybody wanted to help. Nobody seemingly wanted to help. So in the same way where I go, jokes aside, if you have anything that could help prove, I wanted to create a detailed breakdown of events and help prove his fraud. And then Mist goes, I've heard that before because I posted a thing saying it previously, and then nobody responded to me with, got him, mosquito, or got something. Nobody responded with me to any, like, so I just kind of like, well, I can't do this alone. I don't have all the things. I couldn't prove it out then, but it's now way more obvious that it's a fraud now. Like, it's not even in question in my mind. Whether it's a fraud on purpose or whether he mismanaged it and just like it turned into something that he wasn't able to like make good on his promises, so he just tried to let it go without getting caught or whatever. I don't know what happened. I can't speak for Jason, and I don't know the whole story here. However, from what I've taken in, what I can see that other people in the community feel, what they've said, and what they've shared, and what you can again reasonably go back, join this group. Join the Opacity Community unofficial group, and see the things that was going on and what Jason was saying, and there's a Jason exposed group actually, right? So, with all this going on, like, just if you want to know more currently, it's not going to be in this video, but you can go and find it out. And this is one of the reasons why I'm saying, like, I think that, like, look, I'm not CoffeeZilla. I don't have this platform of like exposing fraud, exposing scammers and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to send this to CoffeeZilla or like post this on my Twitter and tag him in it or something. Something. I'm gonna try to reach out to him on Instagram and be like, hey, can you help with this or something, right? But um, and this is a real, like, clearly I'm not the only one who's been hurt by it, and there's clear, like, it's a juicy story, which is one of the things that I'm trying to say as far as like, oh, so it could be that he took the developer fund and misused the funds and paid and was paying sugar baby prostitutes. I mean, like, that is literally um what he's being accused of. That's what is like, that's supposedly the story, right? I can't prove that. I don't know that. It looks to me like it could be very true. I mean, it looks to me like it's something is going on with him, and you know, uh, in the least, he mismanaged the money. That's what I'm trying to say, and like did it in a fraudulent way where he was promising things that he was never going to be able to fulfill, and then he didn't fulfill those things. That is the wrong part. Okay, this additional part that I'm about to say here isn't, I can't prove this. It's unverifiable. I do think the FBI could prove this. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying it here, so that if the FBI does in fact find that this is what was going on, I'm at least trying to say like that was a thought and that I considered it. So you can, I've talked about in previous videos, right, on my channel, on this YouTube channel. First of all, you can see it looks like I got lightning powers. I mean, right? And you can go and look at these other things where I have this compilation where I'm like triggering the lightning strikes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Wow.
numerous good examples of like crazy, me doing stuff, and then you see like some kind of lightning response. And
For everybody.
okay, so and then there's other videos where I'm showing that like here in my versus my mental health playlist, I could be like, I don't, people are telling me that certain beliefs that I have aren't real, even though I can very clearly see there is some group of people, and I'm highlighting it in the videos that I've put in this, and it includes celebrities, this group of people that is actively aiming to hurt my mental health and to harass me using methods that whatever methods they can use, whatever they can do to hurt me and hurt my mental health, that people are seemingly doing it and trying to get away with harassing and abusing me with like with what they can get away with, right? And some of the things that I've suggested is like I think I've like someone bred me without my permission. Like I didn't consent, but I have children that exist that like not with someone that I slept with, but with someone that they gave my material to, my semen or whatever, or like and then are trying to harass me in that way and hurt me in like really fucked up ways. And I'm trying to bring it up that and explain that like in previous instances like this group like I think that this group of people paid Jason or like some group of people, because I don't think it's just one group of people. I think it's a whole bunch of people, and I think I represent something as far as an ideal, and like all these different people, maybe of different groups, don't like me and are willing to take actions against me to hurt me. I think that one of those persons, someone with the intention of hurting me, paid Jason to stop developing opacity, and that the sole intention of having him stop developing opacity was to hurt me, and that I believe that Jason is just a fall guy who basically like this thing is like he's taken the money to do this, and like it would be hard for me to prove that it's one of these people that like I believe the FBI could probably do it, but I'm not going to be able to prove that any one of these individual people is has attacked me like this or has done something like this to me. I can't prove that anybody's contacted Jason or had him do it. I don't even know if it's like it to me, it's a strong intuition and hunch that I have. And like I think other things in my reality dictate that that's probably what happened to me for it to make sense. So I'm basically trying to end this with I think, and I thought the same thing happened with BitGrail as well. I thought that, and I still think that behind the scenes it's something where BitGrail was hacked and they stole whatever, and like they stole like 170 million nano. They didn't sell it. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like it just certain things don't make sense with BitGrail. At least that's my understanding. They didn't sell it. They just stole it. There's things that just don't quite add up with these crypto scams, right? There are these crypto, whatever you want to call BitGrail and this scams, frauds, theft. I mean, BitGrail was just literally a theft. But again, they didn't. I don't. Did they steal money and then never actually like cashed out the nano? Or everything's trackable. I don't see how you couldn't figure out who did it if you are the authorities, right? So it kind of feels to me like whatever has gone on with BitGrail, like I'm getting money to like that's paying me back to some degree, but I don't think I'll ever be made completely whole as far as, well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what this case does and what kind of criminal charges are Francisco Ferrano actually gets. Like, you are guilty of these. You know what I mean? Where the judicial sentence is that he's guilty, right? Where the I don't know, is it a judge deciding? It's Italian. It's the Italian courts. They don't have the same legal system as like common law here in the United States. So when I'm saying things, I'm just kind of going with what it would be here in the United States. They have different forms of they have a different form of legal system. So I can't act like, you know, but I what I'm trying to say is behind the scenes, I think someone has paid for Jason, and I'm saying this with the big girl thing too. I can't prove it. Uh, Paid in these instances for these people to take these actions, which hurt not just me, but clearly anybody else in this group that feels that they're defrauded. It hurt them as well, and I think there's a pattern of people taking these actions against me at this point where their action against me hurts not just me, it hurts a whole group or class of people. And so I, personally believe that the United States government should take an action for me on my behalf to, like, I don't know, protect me in a way that this kind of thing can't keep happening over and over and over again. Because, like, I would even suggest that happening to Italy, if they stole money from here in Texas, nanos being developed in Austin or whatever, if it was stolen, if it's like American money, essentially, I'm getting at an American project, and some foreign country, even an ally or something, has allowed something to strike out at a project that affects a lot of Americans and, like, just directly steal from a bunch of Americans, and then is protecting it, or like whatever, through like vague, the Italian court system. I will say again, the Italian court system has gotten me some of my money back, so it's like, okay, but like, what I'm getting at is, I think they should protect me as an example, because I think people who are not from the United States of America are taking actions against me through the internet and cryptocurrency in various different ways in order to hurt me, to hurt my mental health, emotional health, like, to hurt me, in order to hurt me. And, like, there's enough instances of it that it's like a pattern at this point. And, like, I think that the government should help with it. And, like, my whole point with showing the storm stuff is, I've been saying, like, notice that when people attack me in these ways, or you know um notice the storm stuff is going fucking crazy. You can literally see me on film, like, on recording, seemingly interacting with the storms. I'm not saying I'm the dude. It does look like, Yahweh pulls it over here and, allows me to interact with it. But what I'm suggesting is, nobody could show you interaction to the degree that I can, and that I think that that's one of the reasons why people are trying to do it, is because, I have this belief around this spiritual thing, but that you can see it in manifest reality. And you should probably, as an American, you should protect me, and, like, no other person on the planet can show something close, or does show something close. So it would be reasonable to protect me. But it would also just be reasonable to protect me because every time I'm getting attacked in this way, there's a whole class, again, of people that lost money in Big Girl. Thousands of people. There's, I think, hundreds or thousands of Americans, probably, that got affected by this Big Girl thing. And, like, he's from San Francisco, so that's not something outside of the country. But I say to Texas or whatever, like, something's trying to attack me. I just feel like that is what it feels like. And, like, with the Big Girl thing, the fact that my car was stolen almost immediately after, and I never, it just seems too. I don't believe that there's no connection. I don't believe it's just all happening by random chance and I just have bad luck. Like, I didn't have bad luck until that point, and then all of a sudden I have the worst luck ever, and it just keeps going on and on. And it's like, the fuck? So, on my part, I can't prove that part. I can only prove that Jason has committed fraud. Or, I mean, he's taken some of the evidence down now. It's harder for me to prove it The FBI can prove it though, so I'm not worried. But okay, I'm gonna file a complaint in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was, this is more real maybe than CoffeeZilla gets you. And then I think this dude is like, I think Jason's gonna get in trouble for this. So especially since he's taken stuff down after I said I was gonna file a complaint. That's a bit too obvious, Jason. Anyway, all right. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. Later. Yeah.